inequality statement is false, you are going to shade the side that does not contain the test point. Now, for example, we have about 3 examples on the board. The question says, show each of the following inequalities on X and Y axis. Show each of the following inequalities on X and Y axis. Now, this is a one variable question, which is X greater than 3. X greater than 3 is just one variable. Now, the first thing you need to do is that you plot X greater than 3, you change this greater than to equal to, it's going to be X equals to 3. Then the next thing you are going to do on your graph is to create a scale. Are you getting it? You know, when you want to plot a graph, the first thing you need to do is to have a table of values. But since this one is just a one variable question, the first thing you do is to draw the y-axis, the x-axis, then after that, you are going to have the simple scale, which is where the x-axis and the y-axis meet, you are going to have the origin. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a very simple scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. That is the x-axis. And also the same thing for the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. This is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Now, one of the things you need to take note of also, under inequality, you know we are plotting x equals to 3. We have not even started x greater than 3. So if x is equals to 3, the first thing you need to take note of is that you want to draw the line. Now, before you can draw this line, the first thing you need to look at is that if the sign is less than or greater than, if the sign is less than or greater than, your line over 3 is going to be a broken line. But when your sign is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, your line over 3 is going to be a bold line. You can see we have broken line here. You can see the broken line over 3 because we are plotting x equals to 3, right? Now, the next thing we need to look at now is that where are we going to shade? Is it the right hand side or the left hand side? Right? Now, x greater than 3. All the numbers after 3 are greater than 3. You have 4, you have 5, you have 6, and so on. Now, another thing you need to take note of about the criteria of graphical solutions of linear inequality is that you are only going to shade the side that is not required. Are you getting it? You are shading the side that is not required. The side that is required, you will leave it unshaded. So this side that is not required, you know, x is greater than 3. That means this is the required side. The side that we don't really want, that is the side you are going to shade. So that's why we have to shade this side like this to the left hand side. So we are shading it. Why are we shading this side? Because we don't need all the numbers that are below 3. We don't need all the numbers that are below 3. So you always shade the unwanted side and you leave the side that we really need unshaded. That's another criteria of graphical solution of linear inequality. That is for number 1. And number 2, you have y less than or equal to 2. And don't forget, the first thing you need to do is to plot y equals to 2. Immediately you plot y equals to 2, you have still the same scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The same thing you did in the first example, that's the same thing you do here also. Now, the next thing you need to take note of is that y is less than or equal to, like I told you here, when it is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you are going to draw a bold line over the number. And since y equals to 2, so you are drawing a bold line over 2. Do you get it? You are drawing a bold line over 2. Now, the next thing is, where are we going to shade? Where are we going to? The shading part is the last part, and it's very, very important. Where are we going to shade? Because y is less than or equal to 2. All the numbers here are less than or equal to 2. So the side we are going to shade is what? This is 2, this is 3, this is 4. All these sides are greater than 2. So the unwanted region is the side you are going to shade. The unwanted region is the side you are going to shade. Take note of that. So all these sides are wanted there because they have said y is less than or equal to 2. So all these sides are less than or equal to 2. Please take note of that. It's extremely important. You take note that unwanted region are the region you are going to shade. And lastly, number 3. Quickly, number 3, this is different. This one is different from example 1 and example 2. Example 3 is y greater than or equal to 5 minus x. y greater than or equal to 5 minus x. Now this is a two variable question. A two variable question. So how are we going to solve this? You can see that it's so different. Now the first thing you are going to do, just like that example 1, you are going to change this inequality symbol to equal to symbol. So it's going to be like a linear equation, y equals to 5 minus x, right? So immediately you have y equals to 5 minus x, you have a table of value. Are you getting it? You know, anytime you want to plot a graph, either linear graph, quadratic graph, the first thing you need to do is to draw or plot your table of value. The table of value is very important. So the next thing is that you are going to have table of x and table of y. Now, you assume that if x equals to 0, you substitute the value of 0 inside the equation. That's why we have y equals to 5 minus 0, then y is equals to 5. So if x equals to 0, y equals to 5. Are you getting it? Then you interchange it again. If x is equals to 0, y equals to 5. If y equals to 0, substitute the value of y in the linear equation. It's going to be 0 equals to 5 minus x. Then x, collect like terms, x is equals to 5. So you have a table that when x equals to 0, y is equals to 5. And when y equals to 0, x is equals to 5. You can see. So you have two different points. Are you getting it? On the Cartesian plane. This is called Cartesian plane. Now the Cartesian plane is your graph sheet. Are you getting it? Yes, the graph sheet. Now, if this is the graph sheet, you have the y-axis, you have the x-axis. Now we have 0, 5, we have the 5, 0. Where the y-axis and the x-axis meet is the origin. Are you following? So if this is the origin, the first thing you need to do if you want to plot any graph is the scale. The scale is very important. What will determine the scale? The only thing that will determine the scale is the value, the table of values. Please take note of that. If they don't give you a particular scale, what will determine the scale is the table of value. So the table of value we are using here is 0, 5, and 5, 0. So we have decided to use on the y-axis 2 centimeters represent 1 unit. And don't forget what 2 centimeters is all about. 10 blocks represent 2 centimeters. 5 blocks represent 1 centimeter. So 2 centimeters represent 1 unit on the y-axis. Y-axis is the vertical axis. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same thing, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. And also, on the horizontal axis, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the right hand, the left hand side, which is the left hand side on the horizontal axis, you have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So the first thing you are going to do is to mark the coordinates, right? When x equals to 0, y equals to 5. When x at the middle, at the origin, x equals to 0. So when x is equals to 0, y is equals to 5. So you are going to start that point. That's the first point. Now, when y equals to 0, also at the origin, x equals to 5. So we start this place. This is the value of x equals to 5 when y equals to 0. Then the next thing you are going to do is that, are you going to draw a bold line or a broken line on both points? You now come back to the equation. The equation says what? Y is greater than or equal to 5 minus x. Since it's greater than or equal to, I told you, it's going to be a bold line. So you draw a very bold line, straight line over 5. This is the first point, this is the second point. Then the last thing you are going to do is that, where are you going to shade? Where are you going to shade? Now, under two variables, this is the thing, it's so different from, what's it called, one variable. Under two variables, the next thing you need to do is that you create what we call a test point, or you just pick a coordinate on the graph. And the general coordinate, you can pick any coordinate, but the general coordinate you can pick the value of, you can pick the value at the origin, when x is equals to 0 or y is equals to 0. So we are picking the test point. The test point at 0 and 0. So if the test point is 0 and 0, that means x is equals to 0, y is equals to 0. Then you substitute the value of x equals to 0, y is equals to 0 inside the equation. That's what we did here. If x equals to 0, y is equals to 0. Substitute the value of x and y in the equation. At the end of the day, you have 0 is greater than or equal to 5 minus 0. Then collect like terms. At the end of the day, you have what? You have 0 greater than or equal to what? Equals to 5. Because 5 minus 0 is 5. Now you can see that this statement, 0 is greater than or equal to 5, is false. It's not correct because 0 is not greater than 5. So the statement is a false statement. The statement is the first statement, and I gave you the criteria for using for shading in a two variable question. The criteria is that if the statement is false, you are going to shade the side that does not contain the test point. So since we use this side, which is 0, 0, you are not going to shade this piece because the statement is false. So you are shading the upper part of the line. That's why this side is shaded.